I am waking up this Monday thanking God that football is back after a dope weekend of preseason football. I know it's kind of crazy saying that, but we definitely got a good look at a lot of good rookies getting their first opportunity at some, NFL minutes. You dig what I'm saying? But after this weekend, I have come to the conclusion that the entire NFL has got it all wrong in regards to Shedeur Sanders. I really feel that way. I got a couple points that I kind of came up with over this past weekend. I know we saw Shedeur go 14 for 23, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he did an awesome job, but I've come up, in my opinion, for a reason as to if Shedeur takes over this starting position, I know we might be putting the cart before the horse, but if there's an opportunity for Shedeur Sanders to take over this position and become the number one guy, I don't want to hear anything else from anybody else. But let's go ahead and welcome in the show. What's going on, everybody? My name is Walter Pollard, and this is Alpha Male Sports. Happy Monday to you all, man. Let's go ahead and just talk about it because, again, this past weekend, we saw a lot of good games in the preseason. I know here on the home front, the Atlanta Falcons, unfortunately, they had to end their preseason game abruptly, if you will, in the third quarter or late in the third quarter due to an injury that a player sustained. So unfortunately, they had to end it. But again, we saw a lot of guys, get their opportunity at some first chance minutes. Cam Ward had 5 for 8, 67 yards. Jackson Dart, he actually showed himself. He showed out, in my opinion. 12 for 19, 154 yards and a touchdown. Travis Hunter, 2 receptions for 9 yards. I mean, he did go on both sides of the ball. He was on defense and offense. I still wonder if that's, something that he can hold up throughout the season. But if he is, that would be interesting, and I'd be happy to see the young man do it. Just to put it plainly, I'd be happy to see if he can do it. And if he does, I'm all for it. But that's not necessarily why we are here today. Of course, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. Let me put it up real quick. So, yeah, of course, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. And in my opinion, again, just this guy has had so much surrounding him since he was coming out of high school. And I mean, we know the story. I think he won 3 or 4 state championships in high school. So going into college, he wasn't necessarily highly sought after from a lot of the big schools. And so we knew that Deion making the announcement that he was going to be going to Jackson State, of course, Shedeur was going to go. And then when Deion made his decision to go to Colorado, we knew Shedeur was going to enter the transfer portal and he was going to go. So we knew that he already comes with a bit of baggage coming into the NFL. I do believe that's why not Deion, of course, but Shedeur had fallen to the 5th round in the draft, not because of a lot of what the preconceived notions were, even to some of the stuff that the insiders started to say during his pre-draft process. I feel as though some of that was just to throw mud into the water to murky things up for him. And again, I feel as though the entire NFL got it all wrong because I believe most of these teams shied away from Shedeur Sanders because of the fear that they may have to deal with in some point in time, Deion Sanders. At some point in time, they would have to deal with Deion Sanders. And then we can even go so far beyond just his father, just the young man we see in front of us. They've said that he's too flashy. He's walked around with all the chains and the jewelry and whatever. He's at a grill and he's been on Fashion Week with Pharrell and all of that stuff. So that's whatever. But they say he's too flashy. And then sometimes how he speaks of himself, they say he's too cocky or he's arrogant. They say sometimes his demeanor on the field or on the sideline, maybe after a bad play, he's lacking accountability. He doesn't have any leadership. And then we can go so far as even on the field, they say that he's not as athletic. He can't necessarily get you the yards or whatnot. He has a limited athletic ceiling, whatever the hell that is. Or he holds on to the ball too long. And to all of those things, you can feel the way you want to about this young man. But I will say on the field, he exemplifies what the NFL said for years and years prior to now He is what the NFL has said was the prototypical quarterback. Argue with your mama, but I feel as though Shedeur Sanders is the quintessential quarterback. He is the prototypical quarterback for the NFL. And so what he did over the weekend is no surprise. Now, a lot of people have said, even Stephen A. Smith said on ESPN, that he's being set up to fail. You know, it's been brought up multiple times about the fact that Shedeur Sanders, you know, hasn't got a lot of reps in the preseason. I'll actually bring this one up for you guys to check and see.
He's got the fewest reps in camp, and he's got a sore arm. Why? Well, people say he throws a lot before practice and after practice. Well, how counterproductive is that?
I'm sure there's a method to the madness.
What is it?
He's trying to get his arm right, Tone. I'm sure he's probably practiced more now than he has at any point in his collegiate
obviously
career.
was counterproductive because he's got a sore arm.
Okay, so you're using that as a negative against the kid?
I don't understand.
Jesus
and of
God.
course, again, the guy he's talking about, you know, Shedeur and his sore arm, and he's not playing against anybody. And I'll actually wrap back to this story shortly because, again, listening to this listening to this video, I know for a fact that Shedeur has definitely handled this situation with class, and I think he's handled overall this situation with a very very level head, just in my honest opinion. I think also to a degree, Shedeur has also pulled a lot of the attention on him. I think that's why he has a clause in his contract that whatever name, image, or likeness that the Browns get, or, you know, the Browns have to use for Shedeur Sanders, he reaps the benefits of that. It's almost like he took his NIL from college into the NFL. Smart young man. He knows the business. He's had a legendary father ahead of him. So, of course, he would know what he's doing going into this situation. And again, I feel like he pulls the spotlight, unknowing to himself, he pulls the spotlight away from a lot of his other not teammates, but of a lot of his other guys that, you know, came out in this draft class. Cam Ward was 5 for 8, 67 yards. Jackson Dart, 12 for 19, 154 yards and a touchdown. Travis Hunter, you know, of course, he's still playing both sides of the ball. I think Ashton Jency plays tonight. Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr. I mean, there's so many guys that we could be looking at, but unfortunately, people are looking for either the downfall of Shedeur Sanders or him to do what some of us have expected him to do in the NFL. Again, I think that Shedeur Sanders is definitely, he definitely has earned the right, in my opinion. If he takes the position, let's say, for instance, because there's only one game, he still has 2 more preseasons left in this preseason, if you will, before the season starts. I think he's kind of made some movement in that crowded quarterback room. But if he were to take on the number 1 position, again, in my honest opinion, if he finds his way to a starting job, I don't think anybody can say anything about this young man being too cocky, myself included, okay? He can make as much music as he wants, okay? I do not like this. I kind of like it because it's a tune, but I still feel like it's annoying. But again, look at who his father is. His father did the exact same thing when he was in the NFL, you know? So again, I guess it's perfect timing, if you will. He can make as much music as he wants to, just to be completely honest. You know, and again, like that young man, well, not young man, but that reporter was talking about, you know, Shedeur Sanders and how he was sore-armed, or he had a sore arm in the preseason, but yet he hasn't got a lot of snaps. Check out how Shedeur Sanders handles the situation after his performance in Carolina.
Tony, I be hoping you be. Hold on. Tony, I be hoping you got something positive to say about me. You always say negative stuff about me. And I'm like, I ain't do nothing to you. No. I ain't seen nothing positive that you ever say. I did something positive every day. But I'm saying, come on, Tony. What I do to you, Tony?
Now, again, one could say you can say whatever you want looking at the first clip of the guy talking about Shedeur Sanders and saying that he has a sore arm, but who is he playing against? He hadn't got any reps, so how in the world can he have a sore arm? Whatever. You can say whatever you want about that, but looking at how Shedeur Sanders approached the gentleman. You know what I'm saying? He approached him. He talked about it. He had addressed it man to man, looked him in his eyes. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't, you know what I'm saying, like how some people would like to paint it. He wasn't trying to intimidate the young man, the reporter or the analyst. But ultimately, he just wanted to address the situation. Again, after this past weekend, I feel as though the entire NFL has got it wrong about Shedeur Sanders. If he can take over that number one position, for the Browns, that would be a pretty good story. A fifth rounder taking over the number one spot in his rookie season. And then from there, what else could you do? My name is Walter Pollard. This is Alpha Male Sports, and I'm out. Peace.